Now, you've got to feel sorry for old Angela Rayner. I mean, she goes on this official visit to Ethiopia, dropped into Ghana as well. This was only about 2-3 weeks ago. It was back in February. Anyway, the benefits of this diplomatic visit remain mysterious. Something to do with talking to the African nations about how they will make use of AI. Yeah, I bet you Angela's knowledge came in really handy on that one, didn't it? Yeah. Anyway, there she is in this important diplomatic mission, the reasons for which nobody can really quite tell us. But anyway, she just said, well, can I go on safari now? They were told, and she was told, she was actually told by one of the civil service with her, I'm sorry, Ms. Rayner, that is not how these things work. The government spokesperson went on to explain the Deputy Prime Minister carried out diplomatic and humanitarian engagements to demonstrate the UK's commitment to the region and promote ambitions for partnerships and mutual economic growth. Yeah, right. The jaunt cost 20,000 quid. She didn't get her much requested safari. I would suggest that the 20,000 quid was just money down the drain. But what's going on? She's the housing secretary. A, what is she doing there in the first place? And B, who does she think she is asking for a safari?
Well, if they'd sent some kind of tech wizard within the civil service, I suppose you could half believe this, but I'm not sure that, no disrespect to Ethiopia and Ghana, that they are known to be the kind of AI epicenter of the world. I'm not sure about that. I'm also not sure that, as you say, that Angela Rayner can contribute much, really, and particularly the second word in AI, of course, is intelligence, and I don't think that Angela Rayner is renowned for being conducive with that particular word, is she? So it seems like a bit of a jolly up, doesn't it? You know those sales things that public and private companies put on, where they take you away to the Bahamas for 5 days, but they say, look, you've got to come into a room for about an hour and a half, listen to the CEO talking, but then for the rest of the 4.5-day trip, you can do what you want, and that way we can put it down as a business expense. Basically, this is a thinly veiled jolly up, isn't it? And the fact that she's actually asked to go on safari, which presumably she didn't intend to pay for, is the real reason why she went to Africa.
Well, this is the point. This feeds into our Just Stop Hoyle campaign. You know, that socialist Speaker of the House, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, who went through £250,000 worth of taxpayers' money in expenses, travelling the world on 19 glamorous foreign trips in just 2 years. You know, including spending 25 grand going to South Africa, 30 grand going to Australia, Los Angeles. In Montserrat in the Caribbean, he chartered a private jet. In LA and Australia, he spent thousands and thousands of pounds hiring chauffeur-driven limousines, staying in £900 a night hotels, spending £300-400 on meals. Went to the Cayman Islands. It's called a fact-finding trip. Why does the Speaker of the House in the mother of all parliaments, the very first sacred parliament, Britain's parliament, why does the Speaker need to go to a little place like the Cayman Islands to find facts? Fact-finding information. You know, all these trips to very nice places, I know, where the sun shines. Never went to Belgium or Siberia or anywhere like that. Always the Cayman Islands, Montserrat, Los Angeles, Australia. Went to Gibraltar 4 times. So we want to know what is being done about that. We're calling for an investigation into Sir Lindsay Hoyle's spending of taxpayers' money on these glamorous joints. I don't think he needs to go on any of them whatsoever. So why is our money being wasted like this? We can't get any MPs to call for an investigation because they're terrified of the Speaker. Because if they get on the wrong side of him, he won't call them to make their little speeches from the back benches that they think will propel them to high office.
Or with which they then can write another election leaflet the following week. The other point here is that Kevin Hollinrake, actually, is the Shadow Housing Secretary, makes a really good point. And I suppose we could say that the likes of Keir Starmer going away as many times as he has, and as many times as he did in the first few weeks and months of his premiership, rather sets a precedent for the rest of the front bench, it seems. But Kevin Hollinrake says you'd think that she would have enough on her plate dealing with the realities of setting a totally unrealistic target of building 1.5 million homes, abolishing every district and county council in England, and trying to save the high street from the disastrous impact of massive tax hikes. She's got a point, isn't she? She's got a lot on her plate. She's got a big job. She's overseeing some disastrous stuff here, actually, in terms of the country's inability to build homes, and also this devolution thing amongst councils, which basically is, as a consequence, cancelled, 11, 12 local and regional elections next month or in May. So, yes, she should be here working rather than trying to spin a free trip to see zebras and giraffes.
Well, they'll tell us it was a very important mission, very important diplomatic mission, and great things were achieved, and fact-finding, all that crap. It's not true. It's just basically a jolly. And I think with the Just Stop Hoyle campaign and all the other freebies that these MPs get, that we pay for, we've got to do something about it. These people are taking us for a ride. They really are. They're taking the public purse, putting it in their own pockets, and living the life of Riley, living the high life while we'll all struggle by. Got to stop, folks. It's got to stop. No more sending the speakers on 19 glamorous trips costing like £25,000 for 4 days. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's got to stop. And Deputy Prime Minister, Housing Secretary Angela Rayner shouldn't be going on glamorous trips to Ethiopia and Ghana for reasons that we can't quite work out. The Deputy Prime Minister carried out diplomatic and humanitarian engagements to demonstrate the UK's commitment to the region and promote ambitions for partnerships and mutual economic growth. Sounds like a load of old BS, doesn't it? And if it sounds like a load of old BS, it probably is a load of old BS. It really is. And guess what? They added that Ms. Rayner, that solid working class, down-to-earth lady from the north, travelled on, and I quote, a combination of business and economy flights. What that'll mean is she went on an economy flight of about 10 minutes.
Internally, yeah.
Somewhere internally in Ethiopia, and every other flight was extremely expensive and business class. Ripping us off, folks. That's what they're doing. Gotta stop, right? Let's get these people to stop wasting our money. Stop taking our taxpayers' money and giving it to yourselves for these glamorous globe-trotting jaunts in the sun. It's got to stop, right? 0344 499 1000. Just Stop Hoyle. 0344 499 1000. Next up, talking about taking this for a ride, we're going to talk about Crazy Ed and his ambition to cover 200 schools and 200 more NHS buildings with solar panels. That's very, very environmental, isn't it? Until you learn that these solar panels will be made in China by power stations fueled by coal. So they're not ecological at all. They're quite the reverse. It's just hypocrisy, mad hypocrisy.